Man is a social animal. No man can live on his own for all his life, and he needs to interact with other people. Barring your own family, any new person you meet, you will have to get to know him and you must introduce yourselves. Welcome to today's session on self-introduction or how to introduce oneself. In simple words, introduction is the art of formally presenting oneself to another. From your point of view, when you meet someone new at home, you will need to introduce yourself. When you go to a new college, you must introduce yourself. And above all, when you seek a job during an interview, introductions are crucial. A job interview is a tough competition with only one winner. But you can be that winner, even if you aren't the most qualified candidate. How do you go about becoming confident about yourself? The key is to be able to introduce yourself brilliantly. Remember your first day of English class? On that long ago day when you had your first English lesson, the very first thing you learned was how to introduce yourself. My name is Anil. You would say, what's your name? In the classroom or at home, practicing this kind of introduction is very easy. But there are some things we just don't learn from formal English lessons. Unfortunately, as adults in the real world, introductions in English can be terrifying. You may try very hard not to meet new people. Why? Because we want strangers to like us and we are scared that we are going to do something that makes them hate us or think we're really silly. Today I'm going to go over all the English you need to meet someone new. You can finally stop being nervous about meeting new people because you'll have the best introduction expressions ready to use. You'll be able to introduce yourself with confidence and move on to full English conversations. Doesn't that sound awesome? We will have to follow a few steps. The first step and the crucial important step is breaking the ice. Breaking the ice is a common English expression. It means to get comfortable with someone. There are many ways of start talking to someone new. I recommend that you memorize only 2 or 3 so you don't forget them. Pick ones that you can use anywhere, anytime. Which ones sound more natural to you? The most important thing is that you're able to comfortably say them. Here's one of the easiest one. Just say hello and your name. Then, if possible, shake hands. Let's assume that there is a conversation between 2 people, Asha and Babu. Let's look at how the conversation can go. Hello, I'm Asha. Offer your hand as you say so. Babu says, hello, I'm Babu. And he shakes his hand. Asha says, nice to meet you. See? Isn't that easy? You can also break ice using common greetings like good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Aside from asking questions, another good way to break ice is to ask for basic information. This gives you a reason for starting the conversation. Here are some examples. Excuse me, do you know what time it is? Another one. Sorry to bother you, but where is the meeting? And the last one. Excuse me, are you going to the restaurant? Pick a topic that is happening currently and that you actually want or need information about. Another great icebreaker is a compliment. Find something you like about them and tell them. However, be a little careful here when picking an object to compliment. Don't compliment them as a whole person because they may be offended or they may think it's too forward or friendly. For example, you can use compliments like, I love your dress. You have a beautiful dog. Is that your car? I really like it. The second step is ask follow-up questions. Remember, after basic introductions, you need to keep the conversation going. To do this, have more simple questions ready. Like before, have 3 or 4 questions memorized. Questions are always better than comments because they make the other person talk, and this gives you the time so that you can think of new things to say. For example, how are you? Where are you from? What are you doing here? Or, what brings you here? Are you having a good time? These are a few questions you may consider. The third thing is listen and ask more questions. If you aren't too confident in your English skills, it's much easier to listen to the other person than it is to speak. Pay attention to the answers from your first question and ask for more details. People like talking about themselves, so this won't be a problem. Let's look at a sample conversation. The conversation is once again between our 2 friends, Asha and Babu. Asha begins the conversation by asking, How are you? Babu says, A little tired. Asha, why is that? Babu replies, I didn't sleep well last night. Asha says, Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What went wrong? Babu, I'm a bit jet-lagged from my flight. Asha, I bet. Where did you fly from? Babu says, I came from London last night. Asha says, Oh, that's far. Was it a long flight? Just a few hours, Babu says, but I had a long layover in Frankfurt. Do you see how Asha keeps the conversation going? Each time by asking Babu for more information. When she does this, she also learns more about him. Let's look at another example. Asha says, Where are you from? I'm from England. Wow, that's far. When did you arrive? I flew in last night. Was it a long flight? Well, just a few hours, but I'm still feeling jet-lagged. What's the time difference? We can see how this conversation is a little different, but the questions still work. When we meet people, we usually have similar conversations to introduce ourselves and get to know each other better. That is why it's important to practice these introductions and memorize some of these common questions. Let's look at one more example. Let's say Asha and Babu are both at a business conference. Asha begins the conversation by asking, What are you doing here? Babu says, I'm here for the conference. Asha, Oh, so am I. What company are you from? I'm with the sales team from Samsung. That's really interesting. Do you like it? Most of the time, yes. What do you like about it? Babu says, Well, I get to travel to nice conferences like this. When you're traveling for business, asking people what they do for work is always a safe bet. However, be careful to keep the conversation positive. Don't say anything bad about their work in case they disagree with you. The next important aspect of keeping the conversation going, your introductions being happening brilliantly, is to prepare basic answers about yourself. Remember, as you are asking people questions, people are going to ask you questions too. Conversations aren't about asking questions only. Eventually, people you're talking to are going to ask you the same questions and you're asking them. Because of this, it's important that you can answer these questions easily. Keep your answers short and simple so you have less time to make mistakes. Have some answers ready for some simple questions like, where are you from? What do you do? What are you doing here? Do you like your job? How was your trip? Are you having a good time? What do you think of the weather? What do you think about a movie, an event, a conference, or a restaurant? Even when the questions are specific, you can have a general response prepared. Say something generally positive, then add a little more detail. Adding the detail keeps the conversation interesting. Then you can ask a question. For example, Babu begins the conversation by asking, what do you think of the restaurant? Asha says, oh, it's really nice. I especially liked the fish. Did you? Look at another scenario. Babu, how do you find the conference? Asha says, it's really interesting. I especially liked the first speaker. What did you think? Another scenario would be, Babu begins the conversation by saying, how was your trip? Asha says, it was mostly fine. I only had one layover. How was yours? Another important aspect to keep in mind is having an exit plan. Remember, not all conversations are going to be good. If you find you have nothing more to say or you're not connecting with the person you're talking with, you need a way to leave politely. Otherwise, there could be a lot of awkward silences. Here are a few key lines for leaving politely. You can say, excuse me, I need to find my friend, or I need to go to a meeting. Or you could say, well, it's been lovely talking to you. You can close a conversation by saying, best of luck. Nice to meet you, Babu. I hate to run off, but I need to go. Let me give you my card before I go. Enjoy your time here. These are some phrases. As you say these phrases, you can hold out your hand for a handshake, making it clear that you're ending the conversation. Lastly, you must remember to smile and be confident. You are your own biggest judge. Most people will be happy that you came and talked to them. Even if you make a mistake, keep talking. People will remember your smile and your confidence more than any errors that you make. Now, I need to be someplace. It was lovely talking to you. Keep practicing and enjoy yourself speaking in English. Goodbye for now.